I really was upset when I read about a man and a book. The book is called Rules for Radicals, written by Saul Alinsky.
Well, I'll tell you what, when Jason and I were in the middle of this whole situation and we just found this narrative that was developed against us that was so false and so wrong, and then the media and politicians and even leaders in the business world began to speak, and it seemed like they were following a plan. Lock, stock, and barrel, every one of them. And I was like, man, this is fishy. This doesn't add up. And so I found out about this book called Rules for Radicals. I ordered it online. I was blown away when I opened up the acknowledgments right there, the dedication dedicated to Lucifer. I flipped it over on the back. The Chicago Sun-Times gave an endorsement and said, this book has influenced politicians like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama that have been following the rules of this book. And I'm paraphrasing their endorsement there. So I start reading through the book. Listen to a couple of the rules. This is written in the 1960s by Saul Alinsky, and this is exactly what we see happening in America. Here are rules for radicals. If you want to engage and overturn America for what they call change, here's what you do. Ridicule is man's most potent weapon. There is no defense. It's irrational, infuriating, and works as a key pressure point to force the enemy into concessions. Here's another one. If you push a negative hard enough, it will push through and become a positive. Here's another one. Pick the target, freeze it, personalize it, and polarize it. Cut off the support network and isolate the target from sympathy. Go after people and not institutions. People hurt faster than institutions. And we watched that. We got picked right off, isolated. And what they tried to do was isolate Jason and me by creating a narrative that we hate gays and we hate women and all these things which are patently false, and create that narrative and then isolate us away from ministries. We actually had ministries, two significantly sized ministries in the middle of this whole HGTV situation call us and say, guys, we have to create distance from you because we don't want to get thrust into this media firestorm.
But here's what's interesting about that. If you're expecting a battle, you'll fully be ready to engage in it. So when it came our way, we could see what was happening. God allowed us to fully engage in that battle and pull out the sword of the Spirit and just start chopping things in the air.
Now, one of the things that you teach is the devil's top strategy is to get you to compromise. Comment.
Absolutely. Devil wants you to compromise. You know, if you can be bought, there will always be a buyer. Judas teaches us this. And so the devil knows exactly that whatever God has placed in your hand, even that good thing, that thing, if you take your focus off of the person of God who gave you that thing and you put it onto that promise or that platform or that purpose or whatever it is that God has given to you, that's the very thing that's going to enslave you. And you look like you want to interrupt me.
I do want to say
something.
You know what?
I'm going to grant you permission this one time.
What we write in our book, and we write this in one of the early chapters, we say, we want to be like Daniel, who was a chocolate chip in the cookie dough of culture. Here's what I mean. When he makes chocolate chip cookie dough,
he would never do that.
Of course not. When you make the dough, you take the butter and the salt and the sugar and the flour and all those things and you blend them together. And now if you take a scoop of that, you don't know if you're tasting salt, butter, or whatever. It all just blends together and loses its form. But when you pour in the chocolate chips, you know when you've been into a chocolate chips. You know, and the thing is that chocolate chips keep their distinct form. They mix into the batch, but they never blend in, even when put into the oven.
And David's waistline would tell you he's eaten one too many chocolate
whatever.
chips.
But here's the key, is that
if he's eaten one too many, how many have I? No.
but the compromise that's in the church, Satan wants us to compromise. Just blend into the dough, and no one can even tell a distinct form.
The whole church system today, the most popular churches are seeker sensitive. Yeah. Human rights campaign. You went to a meeting. Human Rights of Charlotte. What did you find out?
Well, we had heard in 2007 that the Human Rights Campaign, which truly, if you see what's happening around America in city councils, the Human Rights Campaign nationally is behind all of these bathroom bills. And the goal of these bathroom bills is to strip the rights of Americans. And the Human Rights Campaign in 2007 came to Charlotte. They had a dinner, 1,500 people. I wanted to show up, so I just bought a ticket. And I sat there and listened as they had a comedian they brought in from Hollywood, and he stood to the platform and began to entertain folks. And then the president of the organization stood and said, he declared, "We will take this city, we will take this state, we will take this nation. And all of you right-wing bigots that think you can stand against our agenda," then actually he didn't even use the word agenda. "All of you right-wing bigots that think you can stand against us, we've already got you. You're laughing at our humor on primetime television in your living rooms every night." And I'll tell you what.
And he could have added, "We have your children. We have your children in elementary school, in high school, and in college. And we have the entertainment industry. We have most of the media. And just give us enough time, we'll get you." Is that in effect what they were saying?
That's exactly what they were saying. And now